Coach Bolton, you're sure leaving that fridge open, hey? Coach? Mr. Bolton? Jack? Yeah, it's behind you. Close the fridge. No, do not leave. Do not walk away. No, okay. Close the fridge, Mrs. Bolton. Do not cut away. Close the... You know how they're always saying the sequels are worse than the original? Madagascar 2... Other ones? Okay, but the most talked about sequel is undoubtedly The Dark Knight. Everybody's favorite. How about High School Frickin' Musical 2? Hey everyone, I'm glad you could join me for a quick Google search field trip. Today we're looking for video essays on The Dark Knight. They're pretty rare, but I think with the right keywords, we might find some. Let's go! Okay, more than I expected. What's up, bitches? We're back with another Google search. Let's find all the video essays on High School Musical 2. It's the perfect sequel, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of videos for us to watch. Oh, that's right. There's only like 3, and they're all by the same person. And this one is just a diss track. No respect for the fine arts. But big respects to this guy making these videos. I only watched this one, but it was funny. Actually, I watched 2 of these. They were both funny. So I know what you're all thinking. Why haven't all the biggest video essayists shone a spotlight on this big, beautiful... Maybe they don't like the spice. Maybe they've never doubted their dreams would ever come true. Maybe they got on the ride and didn't want to get off, and so could not relate to this portrait of the everyman lost in the struggle to find themselves and to take the best advice of all. No advice. Aside from that of close family members and your special someone, you dirty dog, Ross. But I can relate. Not to dating Vanessa Hudgens. It's okay, boys. You don't have to cry for me. I'm all cried out. But having to take a little me time in the decisive moment and tell myself and the entire class of junior girls ballet waiting just off stage when I sang the song to what I thought was an empty theater hall. Too bad I wasn't the senior girls ballet, or might I say I would have had a girlfriend for the last bit of senior year. Whoa. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I told them to bet on it. Full respect to The Dark Knight, it deserves all the credit it gets and then some. But here are 10 reasons why it's High School Musical 2. That is the perfect sequel. Don't forget to subscribe just for the hell of it. You'll be joining a community of over 12 other subscribers, although 7 of them may just be me. Don't tell YouTube. All right, let's go. The spice? Could I start a list with anything else? The spice in this movie is off the grid. As a young boy, this pool scene, very important. Until I watched this again, this was pretty much the only scene I remembered. But there is no spice like relationship spice, and this movie doesn't just hand it over. No, Troy and Gabriella's relationship is on the rocks here, and it's not easy to watch. Troy gets a tough 4 out of 10 for boyfriend skills here, but unlike Gabriella, we get to see what's behind the smoke and mirrors. This boy is being thrown for a loop by everybody. Sharpay, Sharpay's dad, Sharpay's mom, Mr. Fulton, college ballers, kitchen duty, golf duty, resort policy, musical talent shows, Sharpay? If only he had a steady shoulder to lean on. Oh yeah, Gabriella's! But again, our boy Troy is lost, so Gabriella goes her own way, and Troy heads back to home base. At least the parents will have some good advice.
I'm absolutely sure he's gonna figure out the right thing to do. He looks a lot like you.
Oh no, that's not advice at all. Oh wait, Big Man Bolton is secretly saying, you gotta listen to your own heart. That's advice for all of us. So Troy listens to his heart, he sticks with his brothers and sisters, Gabriella comes back, and they kiss under the stars. Now that is spice. The music. What does The Dark Knight not have? Musical theater, that's right. The songs in this joint are straight bangers on repeat. This movie seems like it's made for the kids, but the emotions conveyed in Gotta Go My Own Way, that is for the brokenhearted. And Bet on It? That used to just be hype, but now it's one to cry to as well. Push away the ones you should have held close. That hits home, boys. That hits home. And how about Hasta la Vista? Or as they say in Spanish, Hasta la Vista. You know it's a banger when it's your boy Barry.
Yeah, it's your boy Barry.
What? That's Camp Rock? Oh. Well, Hannah Montana's in this, so nice try. Huma huma nuku nuku apua'a? That's right, another banger. Oh, and I Don't Dance? That is an anthem of inspiration, a bridge between 2 worlds. If I can do this, then you can do that. For real. Ryan is a savage and pretty much single-handedly saved the talent show until Sharpay shut them down. But then he saved it again and reunited Troy and Gabriella. Why? Personal gain? No, I'm pretty sure he actually had a crush on her. Look at this hip hold. That is crush material. So he did it despite personal loss. He's the true MVP, the real hero. A dark knight. Also, big shout out to Kelsey the piano girl, another hero making moves on their own time. The sincerity?
Hey, you gotta see these two play baseball.
I'm looking forward to it.
The setting? I'm sorry, but the country club takes this movie to the next level. I would like to thank whoever envisioned this story taking place in such a magical setting, and thank you for making that vision a reality. Where would we be without High School Musical 2? And where would High School Musical 2 be without the country club and that canyon backdrop? When watching the first High School Musical, you would never think to yourself, the sequel is probably going to take place at an idyllic resort surrounded by canyons. But someone did. And that someone made it happen. Respect. The classy dialogue? There is a huge difference between classy dialogue and bad dialogue.
Kelsey told us what went down between you and Sharpay.
I'm more interested in what went down between me and you, man. I was a jerk.
This is not bad dialogue. That's classy. The boys are being polite, empathetic, and they're being real with each other and with themselves. This is honest dialogue. And it is a work of art. Case closed. The bloopers. They did not need to just give us bloopers, but they did. And the bloopers are good. That's all I have to say about that. The biggest plot twist of the season. There's nothing like a climax with multiple plot twists. That's right. And the plot twists are flying at high velocities mere minutes before the big talent show. This summer of fun at the resort just got a whole lot crazier. First, Troy and Sharpay are gonna sing, and she's got leverage because she's got university scouts coming to hear Troy. But Troy has different priorities thanks to the clarity he got from dancing his heart out on that golf pitch. So Sharpay thinks quickly and decides Huma Huma Nuku Nuku Apua is back on. But Ryan already sold his costume, probably for a lot of money. That belongs in a museum. So Troy shows up to the kitchen, the Wildcats are okay not doing the show, they laugh it off, but Ryan proves once again he's the MVP and decides making Sharpay go 1v1 against this puppet master wouldn't be fair.
All these people out there. I don't really want to see my sister crash and burn. I think you should sing with her.
But here is where things get crazy. Is Ryan telling the truth here? Or is he pulling all the strings just the way he wants them? You'll see what I mean. He asks Troy to sing with Sharpay so she doesn't embarrass herself. So then Troy shows up to Sharpay's crib and says,
I do the show if the Wildcats do the show.
So she's like, alright, show's back on. But wait, Kelsey was eavesdropping the whole time, and she's in cahoots with Ryan. And by the looks of it, the pieces are falling into place. But we don't even know what those pieces are! This rising action is getting out of hand. All these quote-unquote waiters are scheming. The guests none the wiser, nor the audience. This movie is pulling a fast one on all of us, and Troy. So he gets back to the kitchen, and Ryan and Kelsey are like, oh, Troy, Sharpay wants you to learn a new song. Wink, wink. So he learns it, and he's like, yo, Sharpay, why'd you change the song?
Switch songs? What?
And that's when you know you just got a fast one pulled on you. What's going on here, Ryan? You want to tell us? Nope. Even Mr. Fulton's in on it. Come on! So Troy gets on stage, and here's where it all hits the fan. Gabriella's angel voice comes out of nowhere.
Make it last forever.
Gabriella, there she is. Our boy just wet his pants. This is one of cinema's most epic climaxes ever. But wait, remember when Ryan said,
I don't really want to see my sister crash and burn.
but that was never the plan, Ryan. You always knew Sharpay wasn't gonna sing. It was Gabriella and Troy all along. Sharpay was just a pawn to get Troy to do the show after deciding not to do the show. Clever kid. But wait, he didn't know Troy was gonna get Sharpay to come up on stage. And because Sharpay ends up invited to the party, she gives the Star Dazzle Award to Ryan, even though he totally used her to reunite Troy and Gabriella. So what's going on here? Does she know, but decides Ryan was just doing what he had to do? Or is she completely oblivious and misconstrues Troy's big heart for part of Ryan's plan? And if so, how does Ryan accept the award, knowing he just pulled a fast one on her? The moral dilemma here, it's too much. I'm sorry, but this is literally the Dark Knight. Except instead of taking blame and being cast as the villain in the eyes of the city, Ryan takes praise and is cast as a flawless hero in the eyes of his friends and the resort. But his true burden is the guilt that he feels knowing he isn't a flawless hero. But he shoulders it for the sake of Troy and Gabriella. Damn, this movie is deep.
You may face such a moment of crisis, and in that moment, I hope you have a friend like I did. To plunge their hands into the filth, so that you can keep yours clean.
A cray-cray summer adventure. Nostalgia is quite the force, and there's no nostalgia like longing to return to the haze of those childhood summer days. This movie brings me right back. A summer adventure for all ages. That's what this is. You've got the summer sun, some orange canyons, a pool and green grass, singing, dancing, laughing, everyone having fun, everyone working together, friendly games of baseball, a little 2-on-2 ball going, relationships. I think what I'm getting at is how genius this film is, because it creates this little world and then invites everyone in. For 2 hours, we're a part of this fun summer adventure. We're there, singing along, having a good time. There's nothing quite like it. But hey, that's why this movie's the best. Also, this scene at the end where the stars are shining above the rocky landscape and they're playing in the sprinklers. If that isn't summer fun, I don't know what is. Family means no one gets left behind. I think that pretty much sums up this movie and explains why it's so frickin' good. It has so much heart, it's humble and optimistic, and it's surprisingly honest. To me, Troy's moral comeback and discovery of what's important to him is the epitome of this honesty. In my video about writing pilot episodes, I talk about the importance of vignettes, powerful scenes that reflect something sincere on behalf of the writer. Some reason they're writing it, some mystery they're trying to unravel through narrative. And I can see that in Troy's struggle throughout this story. His confusion, conflicting desires, not knowing if he can trust his instincts. It feels real and surprisingly relatable. I was a kid when I first saw this. I couldn't have imagined that I'd be enjoying it again more than 10 years later and finding that it speaks to my current confusions and doubts. Troy is a good person, but he makes mistakes in this movie. Mistakes with consequences that can't be assuaged by his intentions alone. Each decision is a decision against something else. Everything is a trade-off. And the reason Troy is making so many mistakes is because he has lost sight of what's worth saying no to in favor of something greater. And he seemingly has no one to turn to. The game is rigged. All the amazing things being offered to him are really just ways for someone else, whether it's Sharpay or even the universities themselves, to get what they want for their own personal interest. He goes to his father for help, but not being there himself, and most importantly, not understanding why these opportunities are being offered and who actually stands to gain. The only advice Coach Bolton can give is, you gotta trust yourself. And Troy can't even really turn to Gabriella, because she would feel guilty saying, forget about your future in the scholarship, you should be spending more time with me. Not to mention, we see why Troy is slipping up in the boyfriend department. But Gabriella doesn't see any of that, so Troy probably comes off a lot worse. Now, I think the two of them should have just sat down and had a big, long, honest talk, and I reckon they would have got somewhere. But then we don't really have a story, so what can you do? But what about Chad and the other boys? Well, because of all these opportunities Troy's being offered, his friends might actually just be a little jealous. But I think it's clear they still have Troy's best interest in mind. But given that it could be very easily misinterpreted as jealousy, Troy is forced to ask himself if his friends are actually just holding him back. But he eventually figures it out. Family means no one gets left behind. Maybe they are holding him back, but not in the way he first thought. He chooses to believe that they are holding him back from making a mistake. He says earlier in the film,
We're all in this together.
a recurring motif, if you will, in this trilogy, and they all try to live by that. Even after Sharpay was totally trying to use him, Troy still wasn't going to leave her behind, and she turned out to be not that bad. And not to mention when Gabriella invited Ryan to the staff ball game.
So you coming to the baseball game?
I'm not staff. Wasn't invited.
Hey, everyone's invited. Come on, hop in.
I mean, is she an angel or what? And last but not least, reason number 10, and probably the strongest in favor of why High School Musical 2 is the perfect sequel.
Tina and her tippity-tappity toes.
It's full force when I step to the
Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. You know what Gabriella would do? She would hit that subscribe button if she wanted to. So if you want to, go for it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day.